No one's responsible for your feelings but you.
Right?
All right, welcome to our couch. Today we're taking a look at the viral video where the minority students kicked out the white students from the Arizona State University Multicultural Center. Let's get into it.
Did you spell?
Yeah.
What did I do wrong?
You have a better. You're offensive. Police lives matter?
You have the same sticker.
We're just trying to do school.
What?
You guys have the same sticker of the other.
But this is our space.
We've got a Police Lives Matter sticker and we're getting kicked out. Can't do school. You just said we have to leave.
No, I said you're making the
You
space
said it makes me feel
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
But you're white. Do you understand what a multicultural space? It means you're not being centered.
White's not a culture?
No, it's not a culture. It's white is not a culture. Say it again to the camera. You think whiteness is a culture?
Okay, this is ridiculous.
There's so many levels to this.
Right,
Oh my
like where do you even
gosh.
start with this?
Oh my gosh, man.
I mean, this is what wokeness leads to, and this is why I can't stand wokeness. It's so divisive. And basically, they want segregation.
Basically.
They want a place where they might as well put a sign on the door, white's not allowed.
Right. It's wild. I mean, this is just wild. Like, I mean, white is just as much a many cultures as black is.
Right,
You know
it's
what I'm
just,
saying? Like,
you have European ancestry.
right.
Black, you have African ancestry.
Right. Like, it's, I mean, oh my gosh. And then, like, isn't this supposed to be called, like, something Multicultural Solidarity Coalition? Like, the group that's behind this multicultural center?
Yep.
And wouldn't solidarity and all that imply that it's sort of unifying? It's a unifying space?
Apparently, it's only solidarity for minorities.
I wonder what they would consider Jewish people.
I don't think they would consider them minorities.
Oh my gosh.
Another thing is, their whole premise is you're making us uncomfortable. You're not going to be comfortable everywhere you go in life. It's
Right.
no one else's job
Right.
to ensure your comfort. That's your own job, to learn how to
Right.
deal with situations that are less than ideal, depending on how sensitive you are, whatever. It's not even a crazy tense situation.
Right.
There's a sticker on a computer and it's making you uncomfortable. And so these people need to leave because you're uncomfortable. No one cares
Right.
about your comfort.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. It's just crazy because, like, there's been a lot of very, very, radical people throughout history. Maybe psychos, you know what I mean? But radical, intelligent people. Like, people that can brainwash entire nations. People that, build crazy machines and inventions and things like that. And it's like modern day, so many people are radical in their thinking, but they're, like, moderate in their intelligence.
At best.
Like, to sit there and say white isn't a culture is just, like, one of the most ignorant things I've heard all year.
Right? And another
And
thing,
this is pretty ignorant times.
she wanted to be comfortable, and she didn't care that they were uncomfortable. They're like, well, you're making us uncomfortable. Well, you're white. You're not centered here. So I guess she's working under the assumption that white people are comfortable everywhere else except in a minority-focused space. Then that's the only place they're uncomfortable on Earth.
Right.
But I mean,
Right.
she's not responsible for their comfort. They're not responsible for her comfort. So this
Right.
whole premise of you're making us uncomfortable, you need to leave, is beyond stupid.
And that's kind of what the university implied with their response. Because they were basically just like, the students will deal with it. We expect them to deal with it. Like, in a respectful way.
Right, I can't wait to see what else they say.
This is insane.
So anyways, this is the violence that ASU does, and this is the type of people that they protect. Okay, this white man thinks he can take up our space.
Violence.
This is the violence that Arizona State University does. Where is the violence? I feel like they just have a bunch of buzzwords and they just use them. And people, they lap it up. This is violence? What in the world? This person may have never seen violence in their life.
Because she thinks she's an activist. But it's like now, modern day, there's not really a need for, like, activism like maybe in past times, So it's like, she thinks this is activism.
Type of people that they protect. Okay, this white man thinks he can take up our space, and this is why we need a multicultural space, because they think they can get away with this shit.
I'm gonna sit here the whole time and you can find somebody to kick me out.
That's cool. We
We're
will.
not kicking you out. We're asking you to leave if you have any consideration for people of color and or marginalized.
So clearly
Room
don't.
that I can go?
Yeah, the whole rest of the campus, the second floor, the first floor, the whole MU, every single part of the campus centers you. This is the only space that you're not centered, and you're still trying to center yourself, which is peak white cis male bullshit.
Oh my goodness, here come more buzz
Here
phrases.
we
Cis
go.
smell, white
Here
cis
we
smell
go.
BS.
Peak! You forgot peak!
And the crazy thing is, She's like, this is the only part of the campus that doesn't center you. So apparently the whole Arizona State University campus is centered around white people. But when you look at Arizona State University's website, you see white enrollment over the last 10 years is down 10%. Enrollment for every minority except I think it was American Indian is up. Black people are overrepresented at Arizona State University by 1% or 2%. White people are actually underrepresented based on their demographics of the state of Arizona. So white enrollment is trending downward to the point where they're actually underrepresented right now. And she's saying the whole campus centers them. And no one talks about it. Whenever you have these little self-marginalized, proclaiming activist groups, and I always talk about how everything's underrepresented, is unjustified, everything centers around you. But now they're overrepresented, and they don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like that's their goal, which I mean is pretty obvious that's
It's
their goal.
pretty
It's all
obvious.
about power. Like
Yeah.
if black enrollment at Arizona State University was 30%, they would be celebrating it. But that would be a gross overrepresentation of the population, which this whole representation thing is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
go to school if you want to go, don't go if you don't want to go. It doesn't have to be exactly based on the demographics. At least that's what I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the only reason these minorities are getting together like this and making a multicultural center and all this is because basically that's going to increase their numbers and increase the power because minorities want 50-50 power. I mean, let's be honest. It's all about power at the end of the day.
50-50?
Or more. You know what I mean?
You're being nice.
90-10 or even more. You know what I'm saying? Like, they basically want
But not
reverse
just
slavery.
minorities,
Like, who
woke
knows?
minorities.
It is. That's true. But because it's like historically, it's like, you know, like I've talked about in previous videos, blacks and Latinos feud, blacks and Koreans feud, you know what I mean? Like Koreans and Chinese feud, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not as simple as people just want to unite for solidarity. No, this is like an anti-white thing, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, just looking at the university's demographics, that's the only demographic that's taken a plunge.
Dude, I'm not racist. I'm just studying.
Oh, you're not.
You are racist. Your sticker is racist because police, that's a job. You can choose to be a police. I don't choose to be black. Okay?
world?
There are
you
black
can choose.
police. There are black police.
What kind of logic is this? Your
What?
sticker's racist because police is a job. I don't choose to be black, so therefore if you choose a job, you're racist.
That's feeling
I
logic.
guess she's working under the assumption that to be a police officer means you're racist. But like you said, there are plenty of black police officers.
Right.
And what are we
Plenty.
doing here?
Plenty. But, you know, this is feeling logic. This is just astounding, this whole scenario. You know, it's just mind-blowing. But at the same time, the guys came in there with, you know, the shirt on that says, I didn't vote for Biden, or I didn't vote for Biden, and the police sticker and the Chick-fil-A cups. And I feel like this isn't a they didn't just walk in there for you know.
I mean, he didn't just put that sticker on his laptop, and it doesn't matter. He could have whatever sticker, whatever shirt he wants.
Absolutely.
According to her, the whole university centers around white people except this small space. So that means if she wears a Black Lives Matter shirt in the white-centered university,
Right,
then
yeah.
they can come at her with the same energy, and she's going to be like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, this is the white-centered space,
I wish
okay.
she had the
You
logical
know what I mean?
ability that you just had right there, because she's equating like apples and oranges.
Yeah,
you know
it's,
what I mean?
it's ridiculous.
And it's like, I totally agree with what you're saying, but I'm also saying that like the argument from the other side is going to be they came trying to mess with these people.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a good argument because they were just sitting there studying. Maybe they wanted to go to this center because not many people are there.
Yes,
I would do
but-
that when I was in college. I would try
Right.
to go to the library or the computer lab where no one was because I didn't want to hear a bunch of people talking because no one really did work. They, sit around and socialize with their friends. You know what I mean? So I would try to go to the least populated one.
The problem is though, like when you're dealing with feeling logic, they're gonna go based on their assumptions of how these guys are presenting themselves. The energy that they perceive is not gonna be anything tangible or provable about, how these guys are acting or what they're doing. But they're gonna say, we felt basically like they were trying to irritate us. Like we felt like they came in to this multicultural center with some anti-woke stuff, and we felt personally attacked by that because they could have gone anywhere else in the campus, and they clearly went to this room for a reason.
Yeah, but
You
no
know?
one's responsible for your
Right?
feelings but you.
Right? But that's what I'm saying,
If
though.
you let
It's
a
like,
shirt or a sticker hurt your feelings, I mean, you just might be a very, very
Right.
sensitive person and you need therapy.
it's like good if we weren't so comfy in the first world and we didn't have such like a lovely sort of free, safe country to live in, then, that would be an antimatter. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, how these people made me feel.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'm just going to say, from the woke extremist leftists, from this view, it's definitely going to be like infringement upon feelings.
Well, you can't infringe upon someone's feelings.
You
so
can't, but I'm
it's a
saying they're
non-argument.
liable to react irrationally.
I understand what you're saying, but it's just that argument holds no weight.
Yeah, it's not. It's an
Your
emotional,
shirt hurts my
it's not an
feelings.
argument.
Oh,
It's-
well. Your sticker hurts
Yeah.
my feelings. Oh, well.
Right.
Okay? No, you can choose to be a cop. You can choose to kill people with a badge, and you're protecting that shit, which means that you're racist.
I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to defend you guys or anything.
I know, but this offends us automatically because these people kill people like me and like us, right? So you're promoting our murderers. So please just don't do that.
What?
Okay. We're never going to make this video at the rate. I just want to
No.
say.
Yeah, I have so much
Okay,
to
so
say.
this sticker offends people because police kill people like us. Saying police kill people of color. But they actually kill more white people than people of color. And just because they killed someone doesn't mean it wasn't justified.
And how many incidents do they deal with where they don't kill people? Like where people don't end up dying. You know what I mean? Like how much good are police doing too?
Right.
Like this is just so nice. And how many black police officers are there? You know what I mean? Like how many officers of color are there? You
But
know?
then also, who kills the most people of color?
People of color.
Exactly. So if I wear a shirt representing, let's say, it may be a lot gang violence, right? So if I wear a shirt representing a gang or a famous gangster or something, Tupac, famous gangster. If I wear a shirt representing a famous gangster, then will she be offended by that? Is it racist because this represents killing people of color?
Right?
They won't have anything to say about it.
Right. And also, police lives do matter. They literally, like we in our society need to maintain that they do, because if people stop thinking that they do, just like you repeat anything and eventually you're just brainwashed into repeating it, you know what I mean? Like most of the time we're on autopilot. It's like that is we need police, you know, but I mean, these people, we already know they're anti-police. And,
Right.
Sticker affecting you negatively. They're just trying to do your
Thank you.
So why should that bother you?
Because, do you understand that Police Lives Matter was in response to Black Lives Matter?
Pay the same fucking tuition as you.
Yep.
Hold on, but
Yeah, that's fine, and you have everywhere. You have.
I'm working 60 hours a week while going to school because my parents don't just give me money.
It doesn't
Okay, it doesn't matter. You have a second floor.
My skin
doesn't matter.
Or you. I don't care about what color your skin is.
You can get out of here if you're going to be yelling at people because they're
This
trying.
is
our space.
This is our space.
We made this fucking space. We have to work for 5 years
Yes,
to
we
make this
did.
space.
We worked for 5 years for ASU to build a multicultural
Yeah,
space.
this
They're
was
coming in
the-
with, like white supremacist like
we're just
narratives
quiet. We're not
about
white
like police
supremacists.
lives
That's
police lives matter is
Oh, I don't like it.
police
Yeah,
lives
it is.
matter
Yes, it is.
anything
Yeah,
different.
it's affiliated with white nationalists.
It is.
They're just
It is
sitting here
affiliated.
This makes me so sad.
Right.
Oh my god.
It's disgusting. When I first watched this video, I actually turned it off and like, no, I need to watch this. Then I watched the whole thing. It's like, okay, we have to cover this.
It's just like the best possible thing that could happen is these guys go into the most multicultural space and they have their views. These girls have polar opposite views and they coexist together. You know?
Right.
Like that actually, this scenario was supposed to be, I mean, I guess it was up in the air, but it could have been a good situation. And you see this other guy, I don't know what ethnicity he is. He appears to be Asian or something like that, but he is defending these guys. And that is a beautiful thing.
Well, woke people will toss that out because they consider Asians white adjacent. They 100. That's what they consider them. So that won't carry any weight for the woke.
Man, people, it's just, I mean, it's just annoying because it's like they won't give you an inch, you know, like these things do not make logical sense. They're fully emotional arguments, but it's like I'm sympathizing with their emotions for it simply because we're humans. We have to learn how to coexist with each other, you know, if we want to have a civilization at all. Otherwise we can go back into tribes and be fighting each other and like everyone's great-great-grandchildren be screwed, you know what I'm saying? So it's like we need to learn to coexist. We need to learn to accept that we have very crazy differences and like that's okay, you know, but it's like, why would they toss out the fact that this guy's defending it?
Right.
Why wouldn't they listen to him since he's like them? He's in the multicultural space. He's fine here. Why can't he then be a sort of interpreter?
Because woke.
Oh my gosh.
And the crazy thing is he says he's working 60 hours a week. I'm assuming that's to pay for school. That's a lot of hours to be working. How much money you want to bet she's on a scholarship? And
Oh.
probably a minority scholarship.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
A lot of,
and
it
you
is.
guys went out of your way to inconvenience.
Because this
Yeah, because this is our space. We fought for this shit for 5 years, since 2016. You have no idea about the labor that was created to create this space and his.
So we're saying you're
No, we can't. You're violent, dude.
you don't have that fucking
Violent.
We're saying you're
Yeah, fuck America, bro. America was created on genocide and slavery. Look at his face. Obviously, never.
That is the point. That is.
Then move somewhere else. F America was created. Move somewhere else. Why do you want to come to a country that you don't like?
And then destroy what that country's about. Like, there are
Right.
plenty of countries that are about many different things.
Right.
But we all know the answer, and the answer is the only place that they can get a voice like this and try to do this is America.
Yeah,
because
'cause-
America is free.
Right. We have the most freedom.
That's the problem, though. It's like, I see what they're trying to accomplish in the sense that, like, they feel like a sense of, like, purposelessness because their ancestry is not something that they would want it to be. You know what I mean? Their ancestry is just like, we kind of ended up here, and it's kind
Well,
of
she's
mixed.
Ethiopian.
Well, I feel
I
like
looked her up. She said her dad was a refugee and he fled to Scandinavia.
There's a lot of things that we can take from, for example, socialism. But then you take, for example, Scandinavia, and something that we don't talk about when we look at Scandinavia as a city on the hill is how racist they are. My father, as an Ethiopian refugee, was actually put in jail in Sweden when he went to ask to stay longer because his visa was up. Okay, so like.
Right, but I mean,
So she doesn't have that
She doesn't.
American slavery ancestry.
She doesn't, but we know that a lot of woke people take on the energy and the persona of American slavery black. Like, you know what I'm
Right, but I mean,
saying?
she doesn't even have that.
Like, but I guarantee you, when they were getting this multicultural center, the whole sort of MO was, oh, we went through all this and we deserve this because we've been, there's prejudice and all. You know what I'm saying? Her parents might not have even been in America during Jim Crow days. They might not. They might. You know what I'm saying? But
If
it's
her
like,
dad was her dad, it's not her grandfather, her great-grandfather, none of that, was an Ethiopian refugee in Scandinavia, yeah, I don't think they were here for Jim Crow.
So there you go. So, I mean, it's like, but, under this, we have to remember this is like a sort of brainwashing. Like, it's a very deep, like, interwoven sort of psyche about, slavery and oppression and intertrans feminist, all these buzzwords. But it's like, at the end of the day, these people are thinking in a way that we have to learn to understand if we're ever going to communicate with them.
That's tough. It's hard to communicate with someone who doesn't listen. We can talk at them, and you can try and do it nicely and respectfully. But if they don't listen, then communication is not going to take place. It's just going to be talking at someone.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, and the point is that studying, this is not a space just for studying. This is a space for
We're gonna
multiculturalism.
kill black people. We need to defund and defast in our community. So no, now we're saying.
Shut the fuck up.
So you're not getting homework done. You're not getting homework done.
You guys are gonna be so
We're not getting homework done. You're making people feel
media.
uncomfortable. So can you go? It's just that
This is
simple.
crazy to me.
People are feeling uncomfortable by your sticker. Just like if I had
Okay, we're
I
racist.
hate white people thing on. That's the
Hey,
same thing as
point the
this
camera over
police
here.
lives matter. So you're making
over here.
people
Fuck
uncomfortable. You can go.
Seriously,
I was just studying. I pay the same fucking tuition as you.
And
This
I
is
asked
this
you
white
for
man
white
telling
women.
black people,
Fuck
fuck
you.
you,
You don't buy this building.
cussing out black
I
people.
work.
You just proved
I'm an
yourself.
official employee.
I don't care where you work for. You can't kick us out of here.
I just told you to shut the fuck up because you're making me feel unsafe in this space.
There's no such white people. There's no such thing as reverse racism. So have fun thinking that we are the racist ones. There's no such thing.
He's not white. He doesn't have.
There's no such thing as
man.
reverse racism, so I bet she believes black people cannot be racist.
Absolutely. She absolutely believes that. And then they're equating Police Lives Matter to, like, white supremacy.
Yes.
Like, black people should die, basically. And it's sad because that's what I'm saying, though. It's like, at the end of the day, these people can't be that intelligent. Or if they are intelligent, then they're somehow sleeping at the wheel because they're not putting, like, logical conclusions together. They're just taking what the media narrative is and, like, spewing it back at these people right in front of them who are clearly, like, the dude apologized. He said, I'm just trying to do school. And he even said, I'm sorry. For what?
Right.
This is wild, and it's disgusting.
And you know what else I hate?
What?
This, but other than this, the word multicultural or multicultural center, the phrase, that's not what it means. That's code for like minority supremacy. Because whenever you have multicultural stuff, they don't include white people.
Right.
And like with this big diversity push, they're actually overrepresenting minorities in a ton of things.
Yeah, if you have like a multicultural fair, though, at least food fair, they usually have like Greek and Italian and like a whole bunch of different stuff, you know. But for some reason on university campuses, it always tends to mean, like you said, minority supremacy.
It does. Like I looked at their website for their multicultural center, and it says people of color and historically underrepresented groups.
Yeah.
So like, how come white people not included in the multicultural? It's like multicultural except white.
Yeah.
But I mean, white people are actually underrepresented at ASU. So I mean, they should definitely be included. White people are overrepresented.
Right.
But I mean, everyone should be included.
Everyone should.
Men are underrepresented. Yeah. Women are overrepresented.
Okay.
Arizona State University, for the last 10 years even, has had more women enrolled than men.
Not surprising.
So if anything, these men are the minorities at ASU, not the women.
That's how you know this was kind of like cooked up though, in the background. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you just look 40, 50 years ago and just like women and education. It's like, how are women now like dominating the workforce when women are also supposed to be like doing like birthing children and all these other things too? And it's like, no, you don't have to. But it's like the sort of biological urge to do that will still be there for a lot of women while they're pursuing these careers at the same time. You know what I mean? It's just like, this is definitely, I think this...
And more women are enrolled in college in general than men, and people act like that's a good thing. Like feminists are happy about that. But that's what all these victim groups, when they are overrepresented, they're still celebrating. But like, I thought you cared about equal representation.
Right,
Why
no.
are you still celebrating? You should be like, oh
No.
crap, we overshot. Now we need to help men get the enrollment up to equal. No, they don't care.
Just the white
David,
No, we're not saying white people have to leave.
We never said white people need to
No,
go
we said-
anywhere.
hey,
We said
Let's go to the dean's office.
Yeah, this is
Go ahead, go to the dean's office. Go ahead. You can learn about this shit.
Go, Karen.
You can learn about the history. Go ahead, Karen. Go to the dean.
The big black people scared me
Karen?
out. No, we didn't.
Hey, that guy was...
bullied us out, but
He was like,
Well,
Karen.
you caused the scene. You caused the scene.
You are unaware of history, and it's ridiculous.
Oh, that guy finally... He said something too. He couldn't take it anymore.
Try PhD. So, anyways, we're here. We had.
What?
Who was he agreeing with? You are unaware of history and it is ridiculous.
It seemed like he was agreeing with the guys. It seemed to me he was talking to the girls.
It seemed like it to me.
We had to protect the space because ASU wasn't, and you know, like we fought for this space. It was years of organizing, and we're not gonna just let some white supremacists change that. So, anyways, that's why we're here. Yeah, they're gonna make a scene and go talk to their Karens and all of that. But you know, it's important to recognize why we have to do that. And what a multicultural space means. Because multiculturalism doesn't mean that, oh, we all come together and hold hands. It means that you provide space and you protect the most marginalized. And shit like that makes this space uncomfortable.
He threatened us that he will go to the dean. We'll see what he will say to the dean. And
Okay, so this lady is a PhD candidate at ASU. So this is the new educated class of people. Like the whole education system, the whole word educated, it's a farce modern day. What does it mean to be educated? This
Brainwashed.
is educated?
Modern day. Shoot.
She's just like a buzzword generator.
It's just like it's just like annoying because I think that, you know, first off, we're dealing, even though she's a PhD candidate, so she's probably well into her 20s, maybe even 30, she is a child. You know, I think it's a very childish situation going on because, I mean, it's common sense. I think that when people don't want problems with people, they usually just avoid the situation altogether. But at the same time, I feel like people need to stand up for keeping spaces inclusive. Otherwise, eventually we're going to have, you know, white people being basically black only places. You know what I mean? It's going to be black only and black drinking fountain. And, you know what I'm saying? It'd be the reverse of, it's like, I don't blame the guys for going in there, but I definitely think that they went in there for a reason. And I think the reason that they went in there was probably because they felt it was unfair. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or it could have been a place where not that many people were.
Or if it was truly multicultural and they wanted to test it out, then they could go in there with their beliefs and be treated equally. So, I mean, for whatever reason it was, I don't think the guys were in the wrong at all, but I definitely think this whole situation is a bit childish.
You know what's so crazy about this?
What?
By these girls' logic, they would have been more comfortable during segregation, Jim Crow days.
Yeah.
They could have had their black-centered spaces then.
It seems like it.
And that seems to be where they want to go.
It seems like they're itching to fight for something. Like they're itching to pick a fight. They're itching to be some, activists, extremists.
Yep. I forgot to say her PhD. I'm going to read this from her profile, what her PhD is in. It says she is investigating the connections between climate change and colonization and how the colonial trauma of Western countries have affects our ability to address climate change today and what we can do to change this dynamic. So that is what she's studying and getting a PhD in. Once she has her PhD, she's going to be considered elite. You know what I mean?
Doctor.
The max education.
She's going to be doctor.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. This is so infuriating because it's like, it's just, what do you do with it? What do you do? That's the question of this whole thing. What do you do with a massive number of people that are brainwashed and not thinking original thoughts?
You can't do anything with them. It's very authoritative. You can't do anything with them. But this makes me think about?
What?
These people vote.
We'll see how the dean reacts to this. And now we'll see who ASU prioritizes. Students of color in our only fucking room in this campus are white cis men who are threatening black students by saying police lives matter. That doesn't matter. Can you leave?
That's a threat, saying police lives matter?
Police? There are plenty of black police.
You see how they manipulate language?
Yeah.
It goes from police lives matter, which they didn't even say. It was just a sticker. They said police lives matter, which is a threat to black people. They're so manipulative with the words they choose.
And also, it's like, and not to go on a tangent, but it's like when that topic comes up, I always just think about crime rates. And I always just think about how many black people live in the ghetto where their biggest threat to their life is other black people, and police are the median, like the person, like they're the people coming in between the good guys and the bad guys. You know what I mean? Like, that's a huge part of the conversation with police that, like, for some reason they don't include. Like, police aren't going around doing anything to girls like her, but she said they're killing girls like her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Goodness.
No.
Okay, you don't want to leave? That's fine.
Perfect. Yeah. I'm not.
Cool, stay there then. And we're saying this is a multicultural space. You're making us uncomfortable, and you're saying you don't want to go.
What?
You're saying you don't want to go.
But
you're just saying
you're not a minority culture.
We're saying
What's your culture?
You're not a minority culture.
You're not a minority culture, but at ASU, he actually is.
And it's like just because he
Men
looks...
are the minority at ASU.
There you go. There you go. And just because he looks white, you don't know what his culture is.
Right, you don't.
You don't know, like, literally. What if he's Serbian?
He could be a refugee.
Right. What? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, tell us about your culture. What's white culture? Stealing things from people? Colonization? Co-optation?
Oh, this is so
theft,
racist.
Occupation?
It's like one of the most un-racist countries.
Oh my
Whoa! He just said America's one of the most unracist countries, and this is what we mean about who are you centering? Who are you centering?
See, this is bullying.
And super
This
racist.
This is super racist.
What's white culture? Stealing, colonization, theft?
Right, right. It's like, what if somebody said, what's black culture, and start listing, you know what I mean?
What if a white person said, what's black culture, and started listing a bunch of things? I'm not even going to say, but a bunch of,
yeah,
let's say, stereotypes.
Stereotypes.
Negative stereotypes. Then what would the headlines be? Who would be covering this?
Right.
It would be on mainstream news 24/7.
And this is absolutely how bullying goes. They do something like, oh, and they start ganging up and making loud animalistic type noises to
With
like
no actual logical comeback.
Yeah.
It's, oh, he said America's unracist. He an idiot.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, they just like use emotion to make you feel small and to make you. I know this feeling of being bullied, and it's like that's exactly what they do. They don't use any type of common sense or logic. They just want to like basically make you the odd person out. It's very human nature-esque. Like very like us in tribes in the wild would be just like this, I feel like.
Black people in the times of racism.
Don't speak my
name. You don't even.
There's no difference in what you do. Bullying me leaving this place than what happened in the times of racism.
We didn't bully you. We asked you to leave.
You guys can't. I can't even do my school. You came over here and said that I'm offending.
Bro, you can do your schoolwork anywhere in the building. Just not here. That's all right.
I didn't notice. I just.
I know.
There's something we can agree on, though.
But yeah, something we can agree on, but probably for different reasons.
Anyways, another day of trying to defend this space.
Feel better by making your group less diverse. Doesn't make sense.
Oh wow. Okay, so diversity is about including more white people.
Oh yeah, diversity is now about including white men.
Okay, you have the whole campus. Honey, you have the whole campus.
That's wild. That's wild, man. I don't know. I don't know what really to think of things like this when I see them. Because, I mean, we're headed for some horrible times.
Oh, yeah. It's coming.
Because people are asking for it. Like, when there aren't any problems, like, clearly the guys aren't racist. You know, clearly they're not white supremacists. Like, there's a very big difference, which modern, like, young people don't understand, between a white supremacist and a regular white person that has values that they don't necessarily agree with woke. You know?
Right.
Like, it's a big difference, a huge difference. And when they're doing stuff like this and this goes viral, I mean, it makes me wonder, is it going to make people more racist?
Right, like how many incidents like this does it take before people start becoming racist?
Right. And even if they're not like, you know, commenting or anything like that, they might just start feeling like, ooh, I don't want my kids having friends like that. I don't want my kids getting married to people like that, you know?
They're going to start saying, oh, black people are angry and this and that. It's
Right.
going to keep snowballing.
Right. And it's like if you have a lot of black people, then you can expect to get recorded and put online and called a Karen and called a white supremacist. So don't have too many black people around. You know what I mean? And it's like, then, you know, I mean, that in itself, it's like, I would understand it. Because it is like, this is problematic.
It is. But I mean, this is what wokeness creates. That's why I hate it.
Yeah, for sure. It's like I don't have all the answers. I don't trust the government. You know what I mean? I've definitely been on the woke side of things, and I kind of can understand where these people are thinking, but it is like super, super juvenile, and it's like they're also brainwashed.
Right.
And they don't realize they're brainwashed.
And they hate white people.
And they hate white
It's like
people.
that ideology, it fosters hate for white people.
It does. It does. And to me, it's also amazing that, like, as people start to get more and more woke, they don't realize that it's fostering hate for white people. Because I feel like that was something that, like, as I was getting more and more woke, I started to feel like, wait a minute, though. Like, I love my friends. I love our roommate. You know what I mean? Like, I started to just feel like, what? You know? Like, this is supposed to be about, like, undoing the brainwashing of the education system and all that stuff. And yet, we're getting more and more brainwashed.
Right.
Because they really think that they're going against the systems of oppression and the history and all that stuff. And it's like, on the one hand, it's like, you know, there's this whole vision for the future that we're kind of taught in school that we sort of come to realize, dang, they didn't teach us how to do taxes. They didn't teach us how to, you know what I mean? They teach you how to be a cog in a wheel, basically.
They teach you how to be racist.
You know? But then it's like, at some point, when do they realize that they're still being brainwashed? I don't know. Like, you went and got your PhD from the same institution that you claim didn't educate you about your culture and that you hate.
Right, and which is also the most diverse university in Arizona.
It's like, which is it? You know? What is it? I don't know. There's a lot of questions I have for people like this, but you can't really talk to them because she started yelling at these dudes, and then she turned around and said they were yelling at her.
Right. I mean, you can't reason with them.
No.
So it's like, I'm just at a loss.
I think, though, honestly, I think if anything, young people today could learn to be a reasonable person. Because if you're an unreasonable person, then you can pretty much guarantee you're going to be on the wrong side of history.
Oh, for sure.
Because there's so many different issues and so many different things that overlap that at some point, if you're unreasonable, people can't talk to you. People can't, you know, you don't even have a little peephole of a doorway in your mind to, like, sort of change it and, like, open up and think things from a different way. And it's like, you're done. You're toast. One thing that you're off on and you're going to be triggered and you're going to be making decisions and saying crazy things. And
yeah, I mean, this chick is bonkers. Like, the main girl recording. I was looking up for this video. She's also an anti-capitalist, but she says she's not a socialist, but we can learn a lot from it. Basically, she wants to live in a society without money. So I guess she wants to go back to segregation.
She's not a socialist, though.
No, a society without money at all.
At all.
I guess she wants to go back to segregation and bartering.
one of the system, something in the new system I think is critical, and I think a lot of people have a hard time thinking about this, is I think whatever new system we have, I do not think there should be money, because anytime there's money, we have corruption. Anytime there's money, we have greed.
She basically wants to be living in like trees and like.
Yeah, pretty
she
much.
doesn't want civilization.
Pretty much.
Because I mean, civilization, they're like inevitably you will have to trade some things.
Well, maybe she wants to trade instead of having money.
But I mean, like, but you're not always going to get to determine what you're trading. The person that's setting the price for the thing you want is going to determine what they're going to accept.
I mean, is it a price if it's not money? What do you even call it?
I don't know.
This is ridiculous.
I don't know. But to coexist in a civilization, you have to give up some things.
Wait, what do you mean?
I mean, like, she basically wants things to be her way and her way alone. She doesn't want somebody else who wants their way to sort of come to a mutual agreement with her and like meet in the middle kind of thing. And I think in order to coexist, like basically if you take the extreme woke and you take, you know, the total opposite, if they're going to coexist, there will have to be things that they're each willing to at least agree to disagree on. They're not each going to have their perfect, you know, ideology of perfect utopia of what it should be.
Right.
You know? But it's like she doesn't want to budge. I mean, she's a BLM activist.
Yep.
She's a climate change activist.
Yep. Climate change PhD candidate. Yeah. Colonial climate change, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. All the words you can think of. I mean, everything else too. Like, they even accuse them of being cis. Remember that part?
Right, like that's an insult, I guess.
I was like, what does
You're
that have to...
cisgendered.
Like, there are plenty of cisgender people that probably... Like, the girl sitting behind him is probably cisgendered in this, you know, multicultural center.
Right.
Like, that has...
But she, the main girl had the rainbow belt on.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why she's
the main
against
girl
cisgender.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure she is part of their LGBT association, too.
It took me like 2 years to understand what cisgender meant. I was looking it up. I was like, I don't get this. And then I realized it doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't it mean basically like standard gender?
Yeah, so it's like it's an unnecessary word.
Yeah. But I guess it's, you know, attempting to marginalize gender?
I
don't know.
I don't even. I may still not understand it. It's a really dumb word. To me, it's like if I called you, oh, you're a female woman.
Right.
So it's completely unnecessary.
Right. But it's, I guess, though, it's like to make, I guess, I don't know. I don't get it. There's a lot of these things going on in modern day. But yeah, they accuse him of being cis. And I was like, wait a minute. Isn't this whole debate, conversation, whatever, over the Multicultural Center? That's totally separate.
Well, they just use all the buzzwords. They use Karens. Karen does not apply to them. The whole Karen thing is ridiculous anyway. I don't like it. But it definitely wouldn't apply to them, even in the way people use it.
This is just sad. This whole situation.
It is. It's disgusting.
It's pathetic. It's sad. It's like very weird too. Like it's very like, dang, these are the same people who watch Black Mirror, watch Ideological. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure being a PhD candidate, like she's not just living, you know, in a cupboard. Like, probably been exposed to the ideas of, you know, all kinds of things. So it's like really weird. So weird that this can happen. They film it. They put it on the internet thinking, oh, I'm in the right completely.
Right, that's the thing, to actually film this and put it up. It's like, you gotta be
like,
kidding
go to
me.
the dean, talk to the dean. I know they're gonna agree with me and side with me. We fought for this.
Yeah, that's
like,
crazy.
It's very
And
odd.
the dean probably would have sided with them if it wasn't for this viral video. Now, I don't know if the dean would side with them. But I mean, that's the comfort there. They know the dean's gonna side with them.
But even I'm assuming Asian student was like, wait, this is wrong.
That doesn't count.
But what happened, it's like, what happened to the sort of backbone that people are naturally born with, the sort of right and wrong, moral code, you know what I mean? It's just innate.
Toss it out the window.
It's just built
The Asian
in.
student doesn't count because they consider them white adjacent. They're the chosen minority,
But
whatever
then-
people say these days.
This is weird times, man. Weird times.
All right, let us know what you guys think about this video down in the comments. And if you guys have any other videos you want us to cover, you can DM them to us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or Discord.
I don't know. Tell me, man, what do you know? What do you know? Me and my boys on the road. We to go. She told me, boy, you to go. Like, I don't know. But I don't know.